5 versus 50. Welcome to this camera comparison of the Honor Magic 5 Pro versus the Huawei Mate 50 Pro. So let's get started. So in this sunny condition, soon to be very cloudy condition, as you can see here, the dark clouds are coming. We will check out the camera specs of both of those phones. The Mate 50 Pro comes with a 50 megapixel main camera sensor, 1/1.5 inch size, variable aperture. This is like the specialty of Huawei here. And we have a 64 megapixel periscopic 3.5 times zoom lens, as well as a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle. On the Honor Magic 5 Pro, it's simple. Triple 50 megapixel setup, 1 inch, almost 1 inch type sensor, 1/1.12 inch size, 50 megapixel ultra wide angle and 50 megapixel periscope zoom, also 3.5 times zoom. And on the front, also almost the same 3D face unlock on both of them, pill-shaped cutout on the Magic, and on the Mate we have a typical iPhone-like notch, I would say, a little bit smaller but still. And we have a 13 megapixel front-facing shooter on the Mate and a 12 megapixel front-facing shooter on the Magic 5 Pro. And we start off with the videos on both of them. So this is now the front-facing camera of the Mate 50 Pro. This one has 13 megapixels. We can record 4K 30 without any issues. As you can see here, we have different zoom options like wide, 0.8 times and 1 times. As you can see here, it's not quite zooming smoothly in, but just jumping between those different kind of views. Angle of views, as you can see here. HDR is quite okay, I would say. Colors are fine as well, and doesn't have autofocus, but still one of the best front-facing cameras that you can get on a smartphone right now. So, and now we have the Magic 5 Pro 0.7 time magnification. We can also go up to 0.8 times magnification and even 1 times magnification. And on screen it looks like it's jumping, but I think it should be smooth zooming in. At least I saw it last time when I was checking the front-facing footage here. And yeah, what do you think about this one here? Is this working nicely? 0.8 times now to compare it with the Mate 50 Pro, a bit more. HDR is working fine. Colors are fine. I think it's a little bit brighter here and there. Sadly also no autofocus, but we can also have 4K 30 frames per second, which is quite good. Also amongst one of the best when it comes to front-facing videos. Now, before the rain starts, so the Mate 50 Pro with its variable aperture main camera lens, I think by default it's going to f2 here to keep a little bit more sharpness on my face. Though in Pro mode you can also open it wider up to f1.4, and I will show you how this will look like in a second. So this is how it will look like with the f1.4. You get a bit of blurrier background. What do you think about this one here? So back to the default camera setting and the auto mode. This is what I want to test and try out. So what we can do, of course, while recording 4K 30 is, or even 4K 60, is switching to all the lenses. So I can go now here and switch to the ultra wide angle. Sadly I don't have a button, I have to slide out to the wide, and this is now the wide here, as you can see here, wide angle, ultra wide angle. And what do you think about this one here in terms of color stabilization and so on? Then of course we want to zoom in, so I'm at 1 times now. Let's zoom in slowly here to this ship passing by. This is 2 times, this is now 3, 4 times it switched lenses, and I can zoom in even further up to 15 times, as you can see here, and we get, I think, an okay-ish kind of picture. And this is now the default 10 times maximum zoom 4K 30 on the Magic 5 Pro. As you can see here, the details are, I think, also crisp and clear. And we can go, we have buttons here instead of the slider, to 4 times zoom if you want to, and then 1 times. As you can see, HDR is working fine, stabilization is also working fine. This is how it will look like when recording. Is the bokeh a little bit more because we have a larger sensor, we have large aperture f1.6 here. Can it compete with the slightly smaller sensor on the Mate 50 Pro and it's a little bit larger aperture? What do you think about this one here? And of course 4K 30 I can switch between all the lenses, 4K 60 sadly not. So the ultra wide angle I think is exclusively used only 4K 30, not 4K 60. But what I can do, of course, in 4K 30 is go to the ultra wide angle, which looks like this. So what do you think about the ultra wide angle? Is the ultra wide angle also having a very ultra wide angle of view here in comparison to the Mate 50 Pro? What do you think about this one here? Stabilization, colors, and so on. Here the photos on the left always the Magic 5 Pro, on the right always the Mate 50 Pro. What we can see here on first glance is we have much more punchy colors on the Magic 5 Pro and much more subtle colors, much more natural colors on the Mate 50 Pro. Even though the Mate 50 Pro is doing a little bit also of adding punchiness, the Magic 5 Pro looks like the Mate 50 Pro in vivid color mode. So what we have here is much punchier color in the sky, as you can see here. When it comes to detail levels and so on, you can see that the punchiness is taking away a little bit of the details here, I would say, especially when you take a look around here, that it looks a little bit more natural on the Mate 50 Pro for sure, but the Mate 50 Pro is also a bit sharper. I think it is sharpening things up a little bit more than the Magic 5 Pro. So this is why the Magic 5 Pro, and this is why lots of people ask me, why are you saying the Magic 5 Pro is so good? It has this over punchiness just like as the S23 Ultra. Yes, but the S23 Ultra, the difference between punchiness and punchiness, because the S23 Ultra was doing a lot more in terms of punchiness and at the same time adding tons of sharpening, which the Magic 5 Pro is not doing. So it found the right balance in my case. But in this comparison here, you can see it's getting a bit softer here on the Mate 50 Pro for sure. And thanks to the punchiness and the a little bit higher contrast on the Magic 5 Pro, it looks a bit sharper there. Overall, I think you get more natural color with the Mate 50 Pro and more punchy color with the Magic 5 Pro. Ultra wide angle, pretty much the same, 13 millimeters on both, and you get basically the same. You see a color difference here again, a bit more punchy, a bit more blue, this color here. I think also a bit smoothed out, where the Mate 50 Pro keeps a little bit more of the details maybe of this building here. And when we scroll down here, you can see it here eventually as well. Maybe it's also over sharpening slightly, as you can see here, especially on the rail of this balcony. And here as well, it appears to be a bit sharper. Could be due to sharpening algorithms, as you can see it here down below as well. The tree here in front, much more sharpened up. And when it comes to the edges here, we can see both have this distortion, very, very similar. I don't see much of a difference, maybe slightly warm colors on the Mate 50 Pro in comparison to the Magic 5 Pro for the ultra wide angle. The ultra wide angle can be used also for macro photography. I can get a bit closer with the Mate 50 Pro where it's still able to focus, though when I go into 100% view, you can see both basically the same, no matter where I am. You lose a little bit of detail, but you can get very, very close here, both doing a fine job for the ultra wide angle macro photography. And when it comes to zoom lenses, this is a zoom shot with 3.5 times zoom. What we can see here is very interesting, because the Mate 50 Pro managed to catch the focus here on this white flower, where the Magic 5 Pro doesn't seem to be. It's focusing on the back. We get the nice background blur here on the Mate 50 Pro, where the Magic 5 Pro does not have this. I think it has a foreground blur, actually, to be completely honest. And the same goes for the 10 times zoom, both doing not so great job, but the Mate 50 Pro a little bit better, fringing all over the place. As you can see, a little bit more details on the Mate 50 Pro, where it looks a bit overblown here on the Magic 5 Pro. And also we have nice bokeh on the Mate 50 Pro, where here everything is sharpened up on the Magic 5 Pro, so it doesn't seem to either misfocused or it doesn't seem to have a nice focus there. Then the selfie camera here, you can see the Magic 5 Pro's punchiness in terms of colors. This is now too much for me, for my taste. The Mate 50 Pro by default uses a wider angle of view, but doesn't have like the bokeh effect. So if you want to have the bokeh effect, you have to go to the one-time view and then you turn on the bokeh effect. And what you can see here is a more contrasty look on the Mate 50 Pro for sure. And you can notice a difference in resolution. It's quite tremendous. It's not 13 versus 12 megapixels. The Mate 50 Pro for some reason takes selfies in 32 megapixels. I also couldn't believe it. You can see here 12.6 and here it has 32 megapixels. I'm not sure why the Mate 50 Pro is doing it, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't doing this earlier. So it is like an update, a software update that makes this happen. In any way, what we can see here is we have I think the face colors is a bit more warmer on the Magic 5 Pro, which I personally like a bit more. And here on the Mate 50 Pro, the skin color is a bit more realistic, but everything else is a bit too darkish here. My eyebrows a little bit too darkish, my hair I think a tad too darkish there as well. but the background color and the background blur I like much better on the Mate 50 Pro than on the Magic 5 Pro, which is simply too punchy there. When it comes to macro photography, basically, or bokeh with the main camera now, you can see both are doing a very fine job, and I really like it. I think the Magic 5 Pro is a slightly bit smoother there when we take a look at the bokeh than the Mate 50 Pro, because it has a larger sensor. The Mate 50 Pro, however, has a larger aperture that you can use, and you can see though here definitely much smoother on the Magic 5 Pro in comparison to the Mate 50 Pro. Yeah, when it comes to zoom shots, second time here, both doing a fine job at 3.5 times zoom, but you can see lots and lots of over sharpening on the Magic 5 Pro. Tries to sharpen everything up, with the Mate 50 Pro keeps it a bit softer. So on first glance it looks like more detailed on the Magic 5 Pro because it has this sharpening added. The colors are, colors are a bit more punchy and bluish, where the Mate 50 Pro is a bit more warmish. And when we go to the 10 times zoom, also on first glance it looks like the Magic 5 Pro wins, but if you zoom into 100% you can see why, because there's lots and lots of over sharpening and processing going on that the Mate 50 Pro keeps at a different level. And overall I like the Mate 50 Pro here a bit better. You can read here plain, something like this. I should have known French, and here it's like not really visible anymore. The Tortuga ship that's passing by here. So it is definitely softer on the Mate 50 Pro, but also I think, a bit more natural, and same goes here for the background. You can see here the construction site on this bridge here is a lot softer, a lot sharpened up, a lot more artificial looking on the Magic 5 Pro, where I prefer the Mate 50 Pros here, more camera-like feeling. When it comes to low lights, both are doing a fine job. The Mate 50 Pro has, I think, the better white balance, because the colors here of my bathroom is really white and not so yellowish as the Magic 5 Pro makes it look like. And here we can see the, I think a little bit, tiny bit sharper even the Mate 50 Pro in this case. But the Mate 50 Pro has to do some processing for sure, and the larger aperture helps a bit, but it looks a bit more processed, where here it looks a bit more natural on the Magic 5 Pro. When we go to lower light, absolute darkness, I couldn't see my toolbox here at all. You can see both are doing a very fine job on the Magic 5 Pro. You can see every tool basically there, and I think also the little details you can see there. The Mate 50 Pro doing a tremendous job. The RYYB sensor is just like mind-blowing, and it looks like it could be done in daylight, and it was literally, I couldn't see the tools, and you can see all the little details here of the stitching, for example, that is a little bit too dark, I think, on the Magic 5 Pro, and it's sharp all over the place, and so many details. Color wise, I think we have a bit of magenta tint on the Magic 5 Pro, but a bit of more greenish kind of tint, I think, on the Mate 50 Pro. When it comes to color, noise and so on, there is a slight bit of noise on the Magic 5 Pro that you don't see so much on the Mate 50 Pro. What you can see is here a bit of noise going on the Magic 5 Pro, on the rings here in the background, where the Mate 50 Pro is doing its processing, and you can see there's not much noise, but also a little bit lack of detail, especially in the woodwork. You can see it's smoothing things out a little bit more, where the Magic 5 Pro keeps a bit more noise, but you can see a little bit more details there as well. So pretty interesting. I would say it's a matter of preference here in terms of the night shots. When it comes to neon light shots, I'm just simulating it here because I don't have any neon lights anywhere close by. I have to like drive somewhere half an hour to get to the city center. The Magic 5 Pro is doing a lot better job in keeping the highlights here, and you can see which color this neon light, or LED light in this case, is. So blue and this yellowish orange, I think. And here in the Mate 50 Pro is just overblown. You can see a little bit of tint there, but it is a huge difference. Both have like a little bit of an effect here, but it doesn't really matter. Detail levels and so on, I think, on par, a little bit, tiny bit sharp on the Mate 50 Pro here. And when we also take a look at the background here, a bit brighter on the Mate 50 Pro for sure. That's the night photography and RYB sensor doing its job. both doing a good job, but I would give the win here to the Magic 5 Pro. Selfies very close in the dark, both eliminate their display to make my face brighter, and I think that it's a bit over brightened on the Mate 50 Pro, but I like a less contrasty kind of look, a little bit warmer look again on the Magic 5 Pro. And again, of course, 32 megapixels for some reason on the Mate 50 Pro, so I get a lot closer there. But both in terms of detail level, I think on par, maybe slightly bit more detail on the Mate 50 Pro. Background blur the same, a bit brighter on the Mate 50 Pro, a bit darker here on the Magic 5 Pro, which is your preference. And when it comes to white balance, very interesting, because I think the Mate 50 Pro nails this here. This is a slightly yellowish kind of tinted LED light that we have here, and the Magic 5 Pro detects this, but it's adding a little bit too much yellow there. I like the HDR. You can see the rings here that are lightened up, where here on the Mate 50 Pro it's a bit overblown, but you can see here in the middle like a bit white, and on the side a bit yellowish, which is exactly how the lamp is producing its light. So it is basically has white light, and it's putting the white light to the lowest setting possible, and then adds a bit of yellow light for a typical reading light at night. And you can see everything is more yellowish here in the background. We have bending, of course, both have bending issues here a bit, but here it keeps it a bit more white because this is more realistic on the Mate 50 Pro. And it's true also the sharpness here, when I take a look at this here, is a bit better there on the Mate 50 Pro. The Mate 50 Pro is doing a better job there, I think, with the white balance and the actual color that it captures from this light. And then we come to zoom shots at night or low light situations. On the first glance, it looks like the Mate 50 Pro wins hands down because it's a lot sharper, but it is tons of over sharpening going on here. When you go in here, you can see how much process it looks like and how much better the Magic 5 Pro looks like in comparison. This is now at 3.5 times zoom. I was even thinking maybe the Mate 50 Pro is using its main camera, but no, it is using really so it has f-stop f1.4, so it looks to be maybe using its main camera for this shot, where the Magic 5 Pro is really using in this condition its normal telezoom camera. This is why you have so much processing here on the Mate 50 Pro. So very interesting indeed. Same light levels, by the way. And then I think there's the last shot. I like the colors on the Mate 50 Pro a bit better again, because the box looks really like this. It's a slight kind of beige look and not like this more orangey look that we see here on the Magic 5 Pro. Though the editing of text and sharpening up of text here on the Magic 5 Pro is superior to the Mate 50 Pro that doesn't do this. So you now can argue I would like to have a combination of both, so I'm able to read my little boxes here. And by the way, if you're interested in KZ HBB PR2, there is a review on this unit as well. Here is a new box that that came here. As you can see, also the text is a lot clearer there on the Magic 5 Pro again. So yeah, the colors are better on the Mate 50 Pro in nighttime. It's brightening things up a little bit more. The Magic 5 Pro is very, very solid there. It's head to head, neck to neck. More realistic colors on the Mate 50 Pro. A little bit more pleasing to the eye, maybe the Magic 5 Pro. Which one is your favorite? Write it down in the comment section. So which one is the clear winner for you, the Magic 5 Pro or the Mate 50 Pro? I have to say the Magic 5 Pro is doing a splendid job. I like the main camera sensor for sure a bit better than the main camera sensor, even with the bokeh effect and the larger aperture that you can achieve on the Mate 50 Pro. That's a bit more flexible for sure. The color science is something that is very improved on the Honor for sure. It's a bit more punchy color, more lively color, more warm color, I would say, where the Mate 50 Pro is keeping it a bit more cooled down and also a bit more realistic for sure. So it is a matter of taste here and there. When it comes to the zoom and ultra wide angles, yeah, what do you think? Write down in the comment section which one is your favorite here so far. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.